Hey, so I was shuffling this very beautiful deck yesterday. Look at that shimmer, look at that shimmer. My goodness. And I pulled a 3-card spread. So this deck is an 84-card astrology and numerology and oracle deck. And so I pulled a 3-card spread from it. And my question was something like, what's going to happen with the collective given this political hellscape that we're living through, right? And I'll put, that a little clip of the video somewhere on the screen so you don't think I'm making stuff up. But the first card that came out was the Mars card. And then the second card was the 12th house card. And the third card was the first house card. And on the bottom of the deck was the 11th house card. And so with this card, I feel like it feels heavy and physical and with a lot of contrast, right? I mean, we know astrologically speaking that Mars is the planet of action, and that red can be volatile, right? And it kind of feels like something a little explosive in the background, although there is a path, some steps leading up to possibly something different, and some steps leading down. But then here on the bottom, we've got a whole bunch that feels like chaos, it feels like rubble. It kind of looks a little mosaic, but there are these spikes sticking up. And it's given me an impression of, like, you know how you drive by a construction site and they're going to build a new building, but they've got the stakes there and the foundation hasn't been laid yet. Well, this is feeling like the foundation, like that's all that's left, of the house, right? Like it has literally been destroyed down to the studs. And so we can take these spikes to maybe represent just that, the things that were holding up society that are no longer, and all of the different systems that are in the process of being destroyed. And then with this path here, it's kind of like, it's giving me this feeling of making a choice. Like, here's a path we could take, although it's kind of in the background. And then here, though, is, do we take the path or do we just continue on with what we already had? Because it feels like an arrow pointing down, like this way up, that way down. And then with the 12th house, I mean, this card is feeling a lot more spiritual, a lot lighter. It feels like a decision has already been made. Yeah, we're going to take the path up, right? And here it is. We can now step onto it and begin to climb the stairs. But we're not entirely safe, because here is the eye of the storm. And I feel like that eye of the storm is kind of representing everything that's happening in this first card. Like this card is kind of folded into that eye of the storm. And it's also a reminder, right, that, that is looming, that is lurking, even though the decision has been made to move forward and to do things differently. We aren't quite there, and we also can't ignore the impact that these fallen systems have had. So if we're thinking about this as the present, and then maybe this is moving into the future, right? And a little bit of the present, because I feel like a lot of us have made the decision, as a whole, in terms of what we need and want as a society. Like, we know we have to do better. But we don't get away from the eye of the storm by just looking away, right? Especially when we're talking about things that have been in place for hundreds of years, systems of oppression, ways of doing things, right? But there is possibility, because here's the steps that we can climb, and up above there is this opening, like into the cosmos. We can't see what's up there just yet, but it says that it's possible, you know, and if you keep climbing, you'll get there. And with this card, I feel like it's all of the things that we are deciding collectively in real time. Like, hey, what do we want society to look like moving forward, right? What do we want? We want better pay. We want universal health care. We want vets to be respected, right? We want more community members a part of government. We don't want things structured the same way. And so all of those ideas are kind of in this incubator place, in the womb, right? Because this card literally has a representation of a womb there and a baby inside. And you can tell the baby's not quite ready to be born just yet, but it's baking, it's being readied, it's preparing. And then around it is this pattern that feels like energy. And then here on the sides, we've got something that looks like cells. It reminds me of cells like being regenerated. So something ready to be born that's new, right? So we can think about this as a little bit of what's happening now, especially when we come together and we dream about the future. But then also this is reminding me of when I was in meditation that day, and I think I have that video pinned, and I encountered Jesus Christ, and he gave me this image of these piles being sifted and sorted, and these groups coming together, these smaller councils coming together to help implement the piles of immediate wants and just wants in general, and then also the needs of society. And then we've got the 11th house card, and this feels very much to me like what's through that opening there, right? That we can't quite see on this card, but this is what it is, right? So if we continue on up this path and get through the opening, and this is where we land, and we can see like how much more calm it is, that it's more peaceful, that something about it feels serene even though there's tons of colors. And we can even see new things like emerging there in the background. Okay, and so that is my intuitive read. I will have to do another video to read from the decks because it comes with 2 volumes of information, not necessarily spreads, and so I just did a easy 3-card spread. But in a nutshell, this is all of the chaos and the systems falling away. This is us deciding and choosing something better as a whole society, you know, as society together. This is representing what we choose and how there will be a time where it needs to kind of incubate and be sorted and decided, you know, how does it get implemented and who's going to implement it. And then this is the implementation and what we get to experience on the other side. So very quick read. Of course, things are not black and white. They are not easy. This time is not that we are going through. And we got to really stay mindful about, well, bypassing certain things, right? We've got to stay mindful about our social responsibility. And although it's hard, you know, here together to also do the heavy lifting, to do the work, right? So that we can get to a place that looks like this and not only be dreaming about it. So, all right, that is it for right now. I'll see you guys in the next video.